Sadie.
And I'm Elena.
Okay, let's talk about something that really matters.
Your vote,
Your voice,
and all the barriers that get in the way.
Welcome to Save the Polls. I'm your president, Sadie Goldman.
And I'm your head of communications, Elena Gillio.
We are a student-run civic education organization based right here in Virginia, and we are on a mission.
Our mission is to make voting make sense for everyone, no matter where you're from, what you know, and how many times you voted before.
Because here's the truth, voting should not be this confusing, and yet, there's misinformation everywhere. There are rules that nobody explained to you. There are real barriers that keep real people from voting.
And we think that's a problem worth fixing.
So, we made a podcast.
Every episode, we get into a different piece of it. The myths, the barriers, and the stuff that nobody talks about. We dig into our own and others' research.
We are nonpartisan, and we are not here to tell you who to vote for. We're just here to make sure you actually can.
Because it doesn't matter where you fall in the political system. You deserve accurate information, you deserve access, and you deserve to know that your vote counts.
That's what Save the Polls is about, and that's what this podcast is about.
So if you're a first-time voter, welcome. This is for you.
And if you voted before but still think the whole system is confusing, this is also for you.
If you just want to be more informed, this is absolutely about you.
So, I guess if you're a person just in our democracy,
this is for you.
Okay, so have you ever seen something about voting online and thought, wait, is that actually true?
Like a post that mail-in ballots are being thrown out, or that you'll get in trouble if you vote wrong?
Or that your registration got messed up, or that non-citizens are stealing elections.
Yeah, you've definitely seen it.
Everyone has, and here's the thing, that some of it is completely made up. Some of it is outdated, some of it is technically true, but missing so much context that it actually may be false.
And it's really hard to tell the difference, especially if nobody ever taught you what the actual rules are.
Which, spoiler, a lot of people aren't.
Today, we're going to get into two things that are deeply connected. The misinformation that spreads about voting, and the education gaps that make people vulnerable to it in the first place.
We talked to people who are out here trying to fix both of these things. And we have some thoughts.
We have a lot of thoughts.
So many thoughts. Okay, so we talked to Shamali Roy Haupt, chair of the Democratic Asian Americans of Virginia, and she does a lot of work helping the AAPI community navigate voting and civic participation, including language access work.
And she brought up something I hadn't really thought about before, and we hadn't really thought about before, which is the role of community-specific news sourcing.
Yes, so she was saying that a lot of communities, and this isn't just the AAPI community, it applies broadly, primarily getting their news from sources within their own cultural bubble, which makes complete sense.
Like, you're obviously going to trust people that speak your own language and covers your community.
But the downside is, if the source has a gap or if misinformation gets into that specific channel, there's no cross-check. You're not seeing a different version of the story.
And it's not like these sources are bad. It's just it's a single source, and it's going to have gaps.
Right, and the people who are most affected by those gaps are the ones who have the least other resources to verify information.
Which makes the stakes much higher.
Exactly. It's not like, oh, just Google it. Not everyone has the same access, the same digital literacy at the same time. Okay, let's talk about education, because I feel like everyone knows that this is a problem, but nobody actually talks about how bad it is.
And it's bad.
It's bad. So people with higher education vote way more, like significantly more. Voters with postgraduate degrees turn out around 70%. People without a high school diploma, well, below 30%.
That's more than double. That's not just a small gap.
And it's not because less educated people care less. It's because they often have less access to information and the confidence that makes voting feel like something you can actually do.
Like, if no one ever told you how to walk through registration or what to bring to the polls, of course it feels intimidating.
And then you throw misinformation on top of that.
Now you're not just uninformed, you might actively be misinformed, which is worse.
So much worse.
Okay, and here's a stat that kind of blew my mind. 60% of college students in one study couldn't name a requirement for ratifying a constitutional amendment.
College students.
Yes, and only about a third of Americans adults overall can name the three branches of the government.
A third? The three branches?
And this is not a personal failure thing, it's a system failure thing. There are no federal standards for civics education. Every state does its own thing.
So some kids get a really solid civics education, and some kids get basically nothing depending on where they live.
Exactly. Virginia has done some stuff about this. Since 2020, every public high school in Virginia has to give students access to voter registration information, let them register on school devices, and offer an opportunity to register during the school day. But knowing registration is available is different from someone actually walking you through it.
Like, there's a difference between here's a website and let's do this together right now.
And honestly, I think that the second thing is where we could push more for. Like, imagine during a school's advisory or free period, whatever you call it, every junior and senior year gets a guided registration session, step by step, actually doing it, not just being told it exists.
Like our 11th grade registration program we started. Okay, we also talked to Brenna Coley. She works for Vote America, and she's helped build digital organization programs for literally dozens of campaigns and advocacy organizations.
And she said something that I think is really honest and kind of rare to hear, which it's hard to know everything, but a lot of information out there is important.
Which is such a different framing than just do your own research.
Right. Just do your own research is kind of dismissive. It puts all the burden on the individual. Brenda's point was more like the information landscape is overwhelming, and that's a structural problem, not your own.
And she was specifically talking about how young voters needed to constantly go outside their usual feeds.
Like, not just getting all your news from TikTok.
Which, we're on TikTok. We're not saying TikTok's bad.
TikTok's great. Please follow us.
TikTok is great. But if a scary claim about voting shows up in your For You page, the responsible move is to go check an official source before you believe it or share it to others. Okay, we've talked a lot about the problems. Let's do something fun. Myth busting!
Oh, I love a myth bust.
Myth number 1, you need a driver's license to vote.
False. You can use a social security number, birth certificate, or passport. You don't need a license.
Number 2, if you skip a race on your ballot, the whole ballot doesn't count.
Also false. That's called an undervote, and it's totally valid. Your vote still counts for everything you did fill in.
Myth number 3, you have to register way in advance or you can't vote.
In Virginia, this isn't true. You can register at your polling place on election day. Some other states do have earlier deadlines, but Virginia is really accessible on this.
Myth number 4, my vote doesn't actually matter.
This one
is my favorite to bust. In 2017, Virginia House of Delegates, one race ended in a tie. They had to break the tie by drawing a name out of a hat.
A physical hat.
A hat! And that one seat determined which party controlled the entire chamber.
From a hat?
From a hat. So if anyone ever tells you your vote doesn't matter,
Bring up the hat.
bring up the hat every time.
Okay, so practical fact-checking tips real quick. When you see a claim about voting that seems scary or weird or unsettling, cross-check it on an official state or county website. Use actual fact-checking sites like Vote 411. Read more than just the headline. Check when the article was published.
The last one is huge. Old articles with old rules get reshared all of the time.
Also, evaluate the source. Is it a credible organization? Did they cite their sources? Or are they just trying to get you angry?
And one more thing. Here's something called ERIC, the Electronic Registration Information Center. It's a system that helps states share election data, find eligible voters who haven't registered, and remove people who've moved or passed away from the rolls.
Which sounds like basic maintenance.
It is. It's just data hygiene. Virginia left ERIC in 2023, which a lot of experts say created real information gaps, like outdated registrations, missed outreach to eligible voters.
And that kind of behind-the-scenes stuff is how confusion gets introduced without anyone doing anything dramatic.
Right. It doesn't have to be someone spreading a lie. Sometimes it's just a system that stopped working and no one told you. Okay, I think that's our episode, and that was a lot.
It was a lot, but I feel like everything needed to be said.
Because the narrative around voting isn't always just go vote, it's easy, and it's important. But both of those things can be true while also acknowledging that it's generally confusing and the system has problems.
And the distrust people feel, it's valid, earned even. But distrust doesn't have to mean disengagement.
And you can think the system needs work and still show up to make it better.
You can fact check, you can diversify where you get your information, you can register, and you can bring a friend to the polls.
You can draw from a hat if it comes to that.
Please don't let it come to that.
We're Save the Polls. Share this with someone who needs it. And if you're not registered,
go do it. Like right now. We can wait. It's fine.
We won't wait. The episode's over.
Oh. Let's save democracy.